Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's talk about EJ. EJ, as everyone at this point already knows, that EJ is among my favorite characters, along with Steve or whatever, but EJ's my guy. EJ seems like the type of person that doesn't believe in lines. He doesn't believe in, there's no line. I think there's damn near no line that this man is not willing to cross. He backs his own son into a corner. By the way, how many children do EJ and Sammy have? I know there's Allie. There's Johnny. Is that all well, Allie, okay. How many children do Sammy and EJ have? Not like with Lucas and Allie, just like how many children do they have? Anyway, he backs his own son up. He backs his own son into a corner. He basically is like, listen, either I'm going to play John Black or you're not going to get the money. And then he's like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to draw up I drew up a contract for you. I know that, Chad wants to play, John Black, but that's not going to happen. So what you're going to wind up doing is you're going to have them sign a contract. And then we're just going to sit there and pull the old switcheroo. So I'm like, all right, bro. Now we're at this point where you're practically telling your son to trick his own family, use an underhanded tactic to get what you want. Because at the end of the day, he wants to make this movie. And he has no problem practically forcing Johnny, to some extent, into pulling an underhanded move on Chad. The guy who literally is giving him a chance, giving him money, and giving him his support to make this movie. I partly felt, as I was there watching, I was like, I feel bad for Johnny. I do. But then I was like, no. Because at the end of the day, this just proves exactly how much Johnny wants to make this movie. Damn everyone else. Damn how everyone else feels. Damn how John feels. Damn how Marlena would feel. Damn all of them. So at the same time, I'm like, bro, listen, at the end of the day, you're doing this to yourself. And that's exactly what he winds up doing. He winds up tricking Abby and Chad into signing his contract, and then made a contract for John Black and practically was like, yeah, I'm going to be John Black. And I'm going to be, co-stars, be doing a lot of scenes with your wife. A lot of scenes with your wife. Chad flips out. And he's literally ready to sit there and just try to beat the hell out of him at this point. And he gets upset. He turns around and he looks at Johnny like, yo, are you serious? And Johnny just sits there and is like, well, Roman pulled out and, he's the investor and, this is the only way I can make my movie. So basically, he's saying the only way you can make your movie is by screwing over two people that actually support you in this. Wow, Johnny. Wow. So, EJ's there throwing a whole bunch of, remarks in his face talking about, I can't wait to sit there and do that balcony scene, we had such great chemistry back in the day. I feel like it could reflect in real life. He's just saying all this stuff to goad Chad. And Abigail, or Abby, I can't believe I called her Abigail. She's sitting there trying to get in between these two. She's constantly sitting there trying to cool down the situation. And when EJ leaves, Chad literally grabs Johnny like, yo, are you serious? Like, you really gonna do me like that? Like, really, bro? Johnny leaves, was like, I'm sorry, because honestly, to tell you the truth, the minute that EJ was like, I'm gonna be John Black, Chad was like, yeah, you strong on your own son. Shame on you. But then he got mad at Johnny, and when Johnny left, Abby was like, yo, listen, dial it down on Johnny, I'm like, no. Literally, no. This man he thought it was more important, and let's be honest, he's over 21. He thought it was more important to make his movie and screw over his own family to do it. So, to be honest, I'm like, yo, if Chad is not there giving Johnny smoke, let him. Let him. Gabby versus Ava. Gabby was being all fake with the morning coffee and, his favorite breakfast or whatever. The minute that Rafe left, it was on. It was on. Gabby's all like, oh, you got all this fake evidence or whatever to try to put my boyfriend in jail. It's not going to work and blah, 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 blah. And honestly, to tell you the truth, at the end of the day, it's all tough talk, And Ava knew it. Ava was like, listen, I want your company, and you're going to give it to me. And you're not going to have a choice to say so about it. Otherwise, he'll go to jail. And she was like, yo, even if he didn't actually kill that guy, he helped cover it out. So I'm pretty sure he's going to do time for that. Either way, he's doing time. It's just a fact. Gabby, with the bravado, with the tough talk and everything like that. But at the end of the day, even Ava was like, yo, listen, you're finally understanding it. I've won. And there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. And she started walking to go get a coffee and her little scones or whatever. And once again, Gabby is giving the tough talk. And it was all like, oh, well, you're not going to win. And Rafe is going to sit there and dump you and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. And what do you think that Rafe is going to sit there and do to Jake? I was about to call him Johnny as in Johnny Sakara. Like, well, what do you think he's going to do to Jake? I was like, did you not just hear when she said, yo, listen, even if Rafe decides to come at me sideways, your boyfriend's still going to go to jail. So, her once again into saying, oh, well, Rafe is going to sit there and dump you and is going to sit there and fly into Nicole's arms. I'm like, okay. And you're still going to lose your boyfriend. So, fine. There was one point where Gabby was sitting there trying to understand, like, why would you do this to me? Like, Gabby, are you kidding me? You've been coming at this chick from day one, sideways, for no reason. And you honestly thought that you wasn't going to get any payback? She was just going to just let it slide? Do you not know who this woman is? Do you not know her reputation? Or are you just so clueless to just not understand the fact that you come at somebody sideways, they're going to come back at you? She literally sat there and stood clueless, like, why are you doing this? Wow, Gabby. Okay. Alright. Chloe is fed up with Philip. Philip tries to bring her flowers and is all like, oh, I overreacted and, I'm sorry for my misunderstanding. I was like, misunderstanding? Really? So, Chloe had enough. She runs to the office and she talks to Brady when Nicole leaves. And she's all like, oh, you could sit there and say, I told you so. Blah, 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 blah. Philip in this jealousy. Now, mind you, she did sit there and say a couple of key things that, when Philip originally asked a question as far as, oh, well, aren't you going to sit there and water flowers or something like that? Chloe lied. And then she was like, well, I'm just tired of tiptoeing around him and yada, 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 and I didn't want him to sit and explode. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool, and I get where you're coming from, but you do understand that you did lie about your whereabouts, right? Like, that wasn't going to be a factor. And, listen, at the end of the day, Chloe is kind of a fool for a lot of reasons. You only went out with Philip as a consolation prize. You knew exactly how Philip was. He's been like that since high school. But you're all just like, oh, well, I'm going to sit there and give him another chance because he's totally going to change. If this was any other guy that he was worried about, yeah, maybe he would have a fighting chance. But he knows your history. So you honestly think he's just going to be so lax and just chilling out? Especially when I don't really know how the whole background story goes, but Chloe did wind up going out with Brady. You know, Brady wound up stealing her from Philip. You know, you guys got history. And you're sitting there acting like, you know, the settings or the stack, you know, how do you sit there and say it? You know, the odds are stacked against him from jump. You know, you work at his company, you spend a lot of time there, and you know that he's been goading Philip for a hot minute, but you honestly think he's just going to be all, you know, zen about everything? It's just like, Chloe, like you can't be this naive. Well, clearly I'm wrong, because we're in this boat now. And hell, there's one point even Brady was like, yo, listen, as much as I hate to sit there and say it, given our history, I can understand where he's coming from. I get it, between him goading Philip, their history, you know, he was like, I get it. So she's all teary-eyed and everything like that. And mind you, she went straight, she made a, you know, after she got angry with Philip, she made a beeline straight to Brady. Really? The guy who is accusing you of, you know, sleeping around with, you storm off, and where do you go first? Where do you want him going? To the guy who is insanely jealous about him. And once again, you don't learn your lesson after you talked about the whole hug and everything like that, and you still hug the man. You still hug him. So of course at this point, you know, you're sitting there saying nothing happened, blah, 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 blah. And he catches you in his arms again. After catching you in his bed. But you... Okay. I know I'm reading too much into it because it's a soap opera, but like, hearing her talk about how Philip is this and Philip is that, and granted, it's all true. Sweetheart, you are not helping the situation. You are not the exact innocent party in this. You know, honestly, to tell you the truth, I kind of stood there even with Philip, was like, bro, maybe you should just dump her. I mean, hell, pull a George Costanza. It was an episode where George knew that he was going to get dumped. So he was like, you know what, listen, I'm going to get fired anyway. I might as well fire the first shot. And that's exactly what he wound up doing. He wound up beginning to break out with her. I'm not going to sit there and tell you the whole story, but you got to watch the episode, which is on Netflix, because that's the thing. I'm like, why don't you just pull a George? Just break up with her. I mean, hell, she already practically seemed like she was going to break up with you that day. Nothing you said or did worked. I mean, I guess you could sit there and give her time or whatever, but like, at some point, it's like, let's not drag this out. Just break up with her and be like, hey, you know what? We tried, it didn't work out, so, you know, me and my antics, and just can't get over your jealous, and can't, you know, get over the fact that I'm just jealous about you. So, just end it. Save everyone a lot of time. Oh, Jakey comes to visit Philip and is all like, oh, I can't believe you're doing this to me, and this, that, and the third, and like, you know, Philip's like, listen, at the end of the day, either she's going to give me the company, or you're going to go to jail. It's just that simple. And all the bravado and the talk and everything like that, calling them names, oh, you're a daddy's boy, or, you know, you had your daddy sit there and clean up your mess. None of that worked. The only thing that did seem like it worked a little bit was Jake undermining Ava. You know, the trust, or, you know, their little partnership or whatever. Because Johnny, goodness. It's a General Hospital thing. Jake was like, yo, listen, at the end of the day, she's in the mob, okay? She had no problem practically killing you or trying to get you shot, and the only reason why you didn't get shot was because Brady was the first person to open the door. And next time you won't be so lucky. Point is, he's like, yo, she's a viper. And you can't trust her. And he leaves, and, you know, there's a good pause where Philip was like, I don't want to sit there and give him the satisfaction by Smith saying he's right, but he's not entirely wrong either. Rafe runs into Nicole, and after a little bit of haggling, gets her to sit down and kind of hang out and share a donut or whatever. Which I'm kind of just like, I get where Rafe is coming from, but I'm like, you know how Ava feels about you spending a little bit of time with her. And yet you're all like, no, it's cool, let's just sit in the bench, in the park or whatever, and just eat donuts and chit chat. Because, you know, my girlfriend would be totally cool with that. Yep. Same girlfriend that was about to sit there and leave you and practically go nowhere, but she was going to leave you, but sure, that makes sense. So they're talking, and they talk about EJ, and, well, he's pretty much bad-mouthing EJ. Just like Brady was bad-mouthing EJ. But to be fair, EJ does deserve a lot of the negative talk that people are talking about him. Now, the interesting thing that does happen with their talk is that Rafe, well, actually Nicole, at first Nicole was like, you know, the only reason why I went out with, you know, went to dinner with EJ is because I couldn't go with you. And then she tries to cover up like, you know, we're friends, you know, we would hang out or whatever, but, you know, I made this deal with Ava, and, you know, I want to stick to it. You know, I want to give you guys your space and your chance to be happy, and I'm just going to step back. I want to keep this deal going. And once again, Rafe badmouths EJ. All the past stuff that he did to her, made her feel like crap, all that. And then he slips up by saying that, you know, he feels jealous every time, you know, he felt jealous of, you know, her and EJ. And that's when Nicole's like, you know, don't say that, you know, like, come on now, what are you doing? You know, at the end of the day, I like to sit there and say that people are human. And sometimes you just can't help how you feel. You can't help the things that you do sometimes. You can't help how you express how you feel. But I'm like, bro, you did all this begging to sit there and try to get Ava back. When she was about to leave, there was a couple of times that I'm pretty sure she was like, you know what, let me step aside or whatever if you got something going on with Nicole. And just like Jake, he just continues to grind on, and by Smith is saying, no, we're good, I want to be with you. This is after he confessed his feelings, that he said he had feelings for Nicole, and that's all they were. They were gone, they were buried. You're practically on your knees, and now you're sitting there admitting to her that, well, I was jealous. You know, for a character that comes across as a Boy Scout, and yeah, I understand some of the stuff he did with Hope, which is a storyline that they still didn't sit there and saw, but whatever. You're just giving so many mixed messages, and oh my god, here's the thing. I know that the fans want Nicole and Rafe together and everything like that, and that's all good and great, okay? But he's going about it in such a craptastic way that you're just like, bro, okay, you're going to wind up giving the fans what they want, but at what cost? You know, at what cost? You can't even sit there for a guy, again, who comes across as a Boy Scout, you couldn't even be decent enough to sit there and be like, you know what? Yeah, this whole thing isn't going to work out. I have these strong feelings from Nicole, and I want to see where they're going to go. Couldn't do anything before, but now that ring is off her finger, it is what it is. But now you want to sit there and be with one woman and pine after another woman, because that makes sense. With that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. See you in the next video. Yeah, I think that's about it.